Namaste, truth seeker. So you want to learn how to level up in life, because you can do it. You can raise your stats. There's no reason a video game's formats can't be applicable to our everyday actions and lives and functionalities and, you know, what we do with ourselves, what we pride ourselves on, be it our skills or our charisma, our intelligence, our strength, dexterity, all that. One that's applicable to all of them. You know, say there are stats that tie into other stats like willpower. Willpower can be tied into any other statistical thing like intellect or strength. Because if you have willpower, you can do anything. You have the ability to shape your own paradigms with willpower. You have to have an open mind to believe you can level up. So ways to raise your intelligence and or your willpower. The thing with pure intelligence that I learned, there was this philosopher dude I was friends with on Facebook, Darren Stevenson. I don't know how much of what he quotes or, you know, does is his own work or whatnot, but anyway, one of the most profound things that I remember him sharing was how real intelligence is like the insects or the animals just in motion. Nature is pure intelligence. It has a symbiotic relationship with everything around it. It is one with the force. It just knows what to do. It knows what resources together. It knows how to live its life without any aspect of thoughts or identity or ego. It just is. It bees. Its purpose is fulfilled. In that sense, humans are pretty silly. How we do all these things just for a little bit of validation, a little bit of feeling, you know, success for purpose. So, to raise your intelligence is to understand what intelligence really is and what it really means. It's very real. This stuff is real. You can use Elden Ring as a reference. You know, say there's 4 to 6 base stats like strength, endurance, you know, magic or mana, or, you know, you get what I'm saying. So yeah, to raise your intellect or your stats, your willpower, is to understand things like, you know, I would consider myself partly a shaman because you understand alchemy, you understand the power of the elements, you harness them. They are what make all life functional. There's no sun, there's no nothing. There's no air, there ain't no, you know, etc. No water, no ground to live on. What is anything without the elements? So it's about understanding source before anything to really raise your level, to raise your stats in real life. To do this, you have to believe in it. You have to have an open mind. You have to be able to break yourself out of your paradigms. So if you can do that, then what you do next is just be in nature, just connect with the elements. Have humility and not needing that much in your life. You shouldn't have that much egoic ambition to take away from the gratitude that you should have for everyday little moments in life. You should never take any of that for granted. You should never take away the fact of you are able to walk and use your own hands to create and you can do anything if you got your open mind too. The big problem with the world is the idolization of everything, like Marvel and all these athletes and everything. Is we get so immersed in how special they are that we don't really ever tap into how special we really are. That's why idolization is bad. There is only one thing to idolize, and that is God. And if there is one thing that is in a semblance of what God is in the physical form, it would be the sun. Or whatever suits your resonance. So yeah, raising your stats is just about being an animal and not having these fixated matrix beliefs that are what they are. There's no other horizon. You're narrow-minded. In other words, you're plugged in. You never become unplugged. That's what Morpheus says when he first brings Neo in with the woman in the red dress. Iconic scene. The whole movie is very iconic and so deep, so much deeper than the face value of it. There's so many subliminals in it, so many truths. But yeah, that's the thing, is that you have to not be a subordinate or slave to all these things that teach us our limits, bound us by our ideas, tell us what we are and aren't, and tell us how to live our lives, and how that's how we value ourselves, as having a 9-to-5, having a car, having all these material things that are really empty and nothing but crude matter. That it's actually men take pride in having a big truck or whatever, and it's like that doesn't amount to anything if your character isn't holy. Raising your stats is just being in the moment. Breathing with intent and prayer. Not beating yourself down. Not letting anybody judge you. Nobody. People that judge you are, they're very hurt inside and misguided. You should always love your enemy. Do not ever feed fire with fire. Give it water. Use the elements. Use your foresight. Always be the bigger person. Always be the bigger person. That's one of my favorite sayings. And that's what you have to be as a man. One of my favorite animes is Yu Yu Hakusho, and one of my favorite characters, maybe my most favorite in that anime, is Kuwabara, and he just almost got his life taken, from fighting somebody. He ends up saving the guy that tries to kill him, whatever. He's dragging him and his 3 friends on his shoulder, and he goes, the villain goes, because he's like, dude, why are you saving me? I tried to kill you. And Kuwabara, he is the essence of what a real man is supposed to exemplify and stand for. And he says in response to the villain, when a man does what he is supposed to do, it is not always about what he wants. When a man does what he is supposed to do, it is not always about what he wants. You can apply that with women too. It doesn't have to be just men, but we're stronger. We're setting the standard before women. Should believe in that, at least. Women are kind of just taking advantage of all these platforms just because they can manipulate how they look and whatnot. All they're doing is hurting themselves, really. They might be getting money, but they're hurting their spirit. They're destroying their chances further for finding a real man. To the point where, when a real man tries to approach them, they don't even know how to identify it. It'll get to that point where we lose that much foresight. We see so much material value in everything. It already is at that point. As one of the agendas of AI and the gender agenda. So anyway, I kind of rambled off a little bit from what the main point of me starting and making this title is about. But really, you just have to have an open mind before anything. Shatter your beliefs of your limits. And therefore, you can understand that you can level up. And there's, something like steroids, right? There's things that you can cheat your stats with. But the things you cheat your stats with detriment other stats. Like steroids, for example, they'll up your strength, maybe your endurance, but that's gonna hurt your intellect and charisma. It's gonna dull your spirit. There's sacrifices with these things that are ungodly. A couple of years ago, or 2-3 years ago, I trained for mass for the first time. And I was able to put 20 pounds on in 2 months, 10 pounds a month. And all I did was just lift heavier than I ever did. I was playing around with some 40-pound dumbbells. I at first couldn't really curl them. And now I can do fucking, 5, 10 each with taking months of a break. And I've retained that strength since. And all I did was just eat more and train hard. That's all I did. So you can raise your stats naturally. You don't need these enhancements. You do not want to be dabbling with anything ungodly, I'll tell you right now. It is not worth it. None of the sensationalism dope that you can get off all this all this crap that's available. There's a lot of bad influences out there, We need masculine influences, but we need them to not be toxic. A lot of them are unfortunately toxic and very, very subdued in a symbiote of a sort. They have an armor or shell around them that's it's what people are kind of glamorizing them for more than their actual person. Sam Solik was actually the dude that inspired me and made me get in that drive of lifting heavy. Funny enough, The dude's awesome. He's got a lot of charisma, Sam. That's why people love him. He's like an angel, kind of like he has archangel archetypes about him. It's his vibration. But man, you know, my heart goes out to him. I hope he's doing everything okay and like he wants to, and you know, because it's scary to look at him. He's it's awesome, but it's scary. You know what I mean? And I see all these. We should never put our beliefs onto somebody else as to what somebody's health outcome is or isn't. So I don't like that I even said that I'm like concerned for him or whatever, because I'm happy for him as long as he's doing what he wants to do, kind of thing. And with any man, you know. Why I say I'm concerned for him is he has such a big platform and all this hate. I don't even want him to read one negative comment talking about like how he'll not age well or you know not age at all. You know, that kind of saying crap. I just don't like that. Why would you? You know, a lot of people are suffering and don't know how to communicate. Their parents didn't teach them how to communicate properly. The world of engineered media is designed to do this and designed to suppress us in our beliefs, and put us in a cage of what our limits and beliefs are. So God bless all these people, and shout out to Sam. That dude's awesome. That's all I can say about him. He's awesome. One way or another, he's awesome. And he is a good masculine influence overall. Just people need to understand what he's doing better a little bit and respect it. There's respect to be. That's how I feel. There's respect to be earned for what he's doing. He's following his dream. So shout out to him. But if you really, you want to raise your stats, that's all you got to do is be open-minded, connect with nature, always love first. Love first, why? Because that showcases your willpower. If you have a strong willpower, you can do pretty much anything. You can believe in your confidence infinitely with willpower. One love, everyone. We'll keep in touch.